Hello everyone, Michael the Librarian of Magic here, finding and cataloging the magical and pointing you to it. Today is October the 16th in my Season 3 of Drawing a Disney Villain every day for the month of October, and I have another one for you today. Today is kind of a controversial one, I guess. We'll get straight into it and talk about why, but it is the Cheshire Cat from Alice in Wonderland. And it's based on the character from the Lewis Carroll novel, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. And I say it's controversial because there's, plenty of debate if you search the net amongst animation fans and Disney fans as to whether or not the Cheshire Cat is actually a villain. And some people don't think he is, some people do. I kind of fall into the camp that he is, which is why I decided to draw him anyway. I don't think that he is evil in the same way that, the Queen of Hearts is evil or Ursula is evil. I don't think that the Cheshire Cat is evil, but I think he's a villain. He's certainly an antagonist in the sense that he's just an agent of chaos. He does bad things to just make himself happy and please himself and entertain himself. It's not really because he's particularly evil. He does good things too, because those things also entertain him or please him. So sometimes he guides Alice, and sometimes he gets her into trouble. He almost gets her killed by the Queen. So I would say that, yeah, he's a villain because he's sort of an agent of chaos, in the same way that, Loki is, or something like that. Maybe a toned-down Loki. Loki's got some sort of evil goals sometimes, but he also does good things too. So there's a similarity there. But I'm of the opinion that the Cheshire Cat is a villain. He's just not necessarily an evil one. At any rate, you decide. Let me know. Comment down below what you think. Is he a villain? Is he not? There's plenty of debate on to go around on that. The character, this version of the character, was animated by a handful of the 9 old men, 4 of the 9 actually, pretty much worked on this and designed and drew all these characters in this particular film. Ward Kimball, John Lounsbury, Eric Larson, and Frank Thomas are sort of, when I looked around, I could find definitely were involved on this. As I said, he's kind of an agent of chaos. He guides Alice around, but sometimes likes getting her into trouble. He's pretty much smiling all the time. He's mysterious and mischievous and all that. Supposedly, in the design of the character, he was based on a cat breed called a British Shorthair. You can decide if they kind of got that right, based on looking at it. And also, there were a few other pieces of trivia that I picked up about the character itself, the Cheshire Cat, in this particular film. Originally, he was supposed to sing a song called I'm Odd. Later, that was replaced with him singing a song that came to be known as 'Twas Brillig. But essentially, when Alice stumbles on the Cheshire Cat, he's singing the first and last verse of Lewis Carroll's nonsense poem, The Jabberwocky. And that's kind of what they decided to do with him instead of having that song. But Jim Cummings, who took over the voicing duties of this character after the principal actor Sterling Holloway passed away, recorded and remastered a version of the I'm Odd song for the special edition DVD. So it is out there in places you can find it, with Jim Cummings doing the voice. On that score, as I just alluded to or just mentioned, Sterling Holloway provided the voice of the Cheshire Cat. And Sterling Holloway is a Disney legend, and he did a lot of stuff for Disney. You have heard his voice before for sure. It's very distinctive, and I've talked about him a little bit before in the past in another video I made in the previous season of this series. Sterling Holloway was the voice of Winnie the Pooh. You primarily recognize his voice from that. He also voiced Kaa in The Jungle Book, and I made a Kaa video where I talked a little bit about Sterling Holloway there. and of course the Cheshire Cat here. And Jim Cummings took over all three of those roles after Sterling Holloway passed away. Jim Cummings has done the voice of Winnie the Pooh and Kaa and the Cheshire Cat. In addition to those three things, Sterling Holloway did a bunch of other stuff. He was the character Roquefort in the Aristocats. He was Mr. Stork in Dumbo. He was the adult version of Flower from Bambi. He was the voice of Amos Mouse in a really great short called Ben and Me, which is an underrated, that would deserve a video of its own maybe one day. That's one that I really like. That's about a mouse that lives and works with Benjamin Franklin during the colonial times. And then his voice, Sterling Holloway's voice, is very recognizable. He was used as a narrator many times. You may recognize him from those things in a lot of different shorts. He was the narrator of a short called The Pelican and the Snipe. He was the narrator of a short called Goliath 2 about an elephant. I've talked a little bit about that short before. He narrated a great short called Susie the Little Blue Coupe, which is about a little car, and another short called The Little House, which a lot of people remember, and they can't place where they remembered it from, or why they remember the voice, or why they remember the short. But that's a Disney short film, The Little House. And also the Cold-Blooded Penguin segment from the Three Caballeros. There's a penguin who hates being cold and he's trying to get somewhere warm. That's one that from my childhood that I remember very well. I was a big Three Caballeros fan, so I remember the short and Sterling Holloway's voiceover very well. In the film Make Mine Music, there's a Peter and the Wolf segment that Sterling Holloway narrates there, and also Mickey and the Beanstalk in Fun and Fancy Free. And he did a bunch of other voices too, little small things here and there for Disney throughout the years, which is why he became a Disney legend before he passed away. He did so many things and is so recognizable just for Winnie the Pooh alone, but all of these other things, the Cheshire Cat and Kaa and all the rest. So yeah, the great Sterling Holloway was the voice behind the Cheshire Cat, and his voice is very recognizable. It's way up here like this. Winnie the Pooh, Kaa, Cheshire Cat, like that, kind of. I don't know. That's my best Sterling Holloway, I guess. So yeah, his work is great. I'm a big fan of what he did. That's pretty much what I was able to dig up about the Cheshire Cat. One other cool little tidbit that I found is the Cheshire Cat does appear on screen in the film Who Framed Roger Rabbit, which a lot of animated characters do. They kind of put everything with the kitchen sink in that movie. But what's interesting about that is timeline-wise, the Cheshire Cat wouldn't have premiered until 4 years after the timeline of the film. When the film Who Framed Roger Rabbit took place, it would be 4 years until the Cheshire Cat would actually debut in reality, but he appeared in that film. But leave it to the Cheshire Cat, right, to bend time and space and show up where he's not supposed to. So that was a fun little thing to find out too. And yeah, it's just a great fun character. It was cool to draw. Maybe I'll color this one sometime in the future if I'm feeling like it, because the two-tone purple characteristic stripes is very, very iconic about this character, so I may do that at some point. But it was just fun to draw him in his tree, and his trademark smile and all of that stuff. Great character, a fun mischief maker. It's always fun when he appears out of nowhere and just really mysterious and weird. And yeah, it's fun to look him up and fun to look up the career of Sterling Holloway. I hope that you enjoyed the drawing, enjoyed the thinking about the debate about whether or not the Cheshire Cat is a villain, and learning about the career a little bit, the Disney career of Sterling Holloway. Thanks for joining me, as always, and I'll have another one of these tomorrow. Please come back then if you want to see another villain drawing on tomorrow and every day for the rest of the month of October. And until then, I'll see ya. Bye-bye.